Midnight Bonded, Part 2. Written exclusively for Romance Audiobooks Love. Copyright 2025. All rights reserved. Chapter 1. Rain misted through the clearing, soft as breath, cold as truth. Milan's fingers were still wrapped around mine. Warm, steady, trembling in a way he tried to hide. But the glow of the vein had faded from my skin, leaving only exhaustion humming under my ribs. The pack bowed low in the mud around us, chests pressed to earth, their eyes lowered as if I had become something they weren't sure they were allowed to look at. Milan tugged gently, urging me toward the tree line. Yasin, we need to move, before they recover. They bow now, but not all of them agree. We need to rest, regain our strength for the final fight to come. But my gaze kept drifting back to the place where Farron had stood, an empty patch of wet earth. A shadow burned into memory. His absence was louder than the storm. The pull inside me hadn't dimmed with his disappearance. If anything, it pulsed sharper, like a tether stretched too thin, humming in protest. Two threads tightening at once. Milan's thumb brushed the back of my hand, grounding me. "Don't look for him," he murmured, voice low and uneven. "He's gone." I swallowed, throat aching. I wasn't. You were. No accusation. I feel it. He said nothing else, but I sensed what he didn't speak. His fear, his jealousy, his pain. The bond between us vibrated, warm, intimate, fragile as chaff after a storm. And beneath it, another vibration, colder, older, wrongly right. Farron. My steps faltered. Milan caught my elbow immediately, concern flaring. "You're shaking." "I'm fine." A lie. A bad one. He exhaled, long and strained. "Your body disagrees." We ducked beneath low branches, the forest swallowing us. Every breath of wind sifted through my hair, carrying scents I shouldn't recognize, yet did. Wolves, moss, old blood, storm water. The world felt sharper. Too sharp. The vein wasn't sleeping. Neither were the memories it kept trying to claw to the surface. Behind us, the pack remained bowed. They didn't rise. They didn't follow. They simply watched us go as if the forest itself held its breath whenever we moved. As if I held something they didn't dare touch. Milan didn't speak again until the clearing was far behind us, swallowed by rain and distance. "Yasin?" His voice cracked. "What you did back there? No Veinborn has done that in centuries." I leaned against a tree, breath unsteady, fingers trembling from more than cold. "I didn't mean to. I just reacted." "You stopped an alpha challenge." His jaw flexed, eyes burning gold. "Do you understand what that means?" "No." "Not fully." "Not enough." He stepped closer, slow and careful, like he wasn't sure how close he was allowed to be anymore. "It means you could have died," he whispered. "Power like that without control, it burns people from the inside out." That explained the ache in my bones, the ringing in my skull, the way my skin still felt too tight. The vein pulsed, soft as a heartbeat, answering him. And then, a colder pulse slid through it, a ripple like frost on water. Farron. My breath hitched. Milan stiffened instantly. "You felt him?" I nodded. His eyes shuddered, something dark and aching slipping across his face. "He's pulling on your vein." "He's not here," I whispered. "No," Milan said bitterly. "He doesn't need to be." That truth hollowed something inside me. I reached up without thinking, touching my temple. "It feels like he's watching." Milan's voice sharpened. "Listening. Waiting. I know." "How?" His jaw clenched. He hesitated Then, quietly, reluctantly, "Because you haven't made a choice yet." I lowered my hand. "I know. I can't. Not yet." "It's because he touched your vein." Milan's expression tightened with something that wasn't anger, something far more painful. And because part of you responded, I flinched. He closed the space between us, cupping my face with both hands, gentle, terrified. Yasin, look at me, please. I did. Rain smeared down his cheekbones like tears he wouldn't allow. His thumbs brushed my jaw, grounding me the way only he could. I don't blame you, he said. I blame the prophecy, the vein, him, not you. My throat tightened. I didn't choose. I know. He leaned his forehead to mine, breath mingling with mine, steady and warm. But please, don't run from me again. Not like that. A tremor ran through my chest. I wanted to say yes. I wanted to promise. But the vein pulsed again. The pull towards Milan, towards Farron, unmistakable. His presence ghosted along my spine, like a whisper brushing skin. I shuddered. Milan's arms locked around me. You need rest, the veins pulling too hard. I sagged into him, exhaustion crashing over me. I can't feel my legs. I've got you, he murmured. He lifted me easily, carrying me through the trees. Leaves blurred overhead. My eyelids drooped. Just before darkness claimed me, the wind shifted, and I swore I heard a voice, soft, yet devastating. Little Veinborn, Farron. Then everything went black. Chapter 2. Warmth pressed against my cheek. Not comforting warmth, burning warmth, the kind that coils under the skin and refuses to be ignored. I blinked awake to the dim glow of a lantern hanging from the ceiling beams. The room around me was small, curved, carved into the earth itself. A wolf den, reinforced with wood, stone, instinct, and desperation. The walls smelled of spice, moss, and faint iron. Another temporary safe house. Milan's doing. My body felt like it had been poured full of lightning. A shudder tore through me. Not from fear, from power. It pulsed along my spine, sharp and hot, spilling into my fingertips until they sparked faint threads of silver light. I sucked in a breath. No, not again. A shadow moved beside me. Easy? Milan's voice, low and roughened by worry. He knelt by the bed. If the mound of furs beneath me counted as one, his hair damp, his jaw unshaven, his chest bare and streaked with dirt and rain. His eyes glowed faint gold in the dim light. He looked like he hadn't rested once while I'd been unconscious. How long? I whispered. Half a night, he murmured, brushing a wet strand of hair from my face. You collapsed the second the vein receded. I pushed up on my elbows. Bad idea. Heat stabbed through my ribs, exploding outward in a rush that made the air flicker with silver. Milan's hand shot out. Yasin. The moment his skin touched mine, frost. A cold ripple spiraled through my chest, down my arms, twisting the warmth that belonged to him into something sharper, something that did not belong to him at all, but to his brother, Farron. I yanked back with a gasp. Milan flinched like I'd hit him. It's him, isn't it? My voice trembled. When you touch me, I feel him. Milan swallowed hard, jaw tightening. The vein recognizes two wolves. It shouldn't be possible. I pressed a hand against my sternum. Then why is it happening? Because, Milan said tightly, he touched your vein during the challenge. When the bond was forming, you were pulled in two directions. Toward what we shared, and toward something our bloodlines can't undo. The words curled inside me like smoke. So, until I choose, I am incomplete? His jaw locked. Yes. A beat of hesitation. It shouldn't be possible, but the vein is fighting something else, something he is trying to force. I closed my eyes, heart pounding. A second bond? Yes, like I said, it shouldn't even exist, Milan said bitterly. But Farron has always been good at breaking the rules. His hand lifted toward my cheek, slow, hesitant, afraid. May I? I nodded, but the second his palm grazed my skin, heat shot through me. Not warmth. Silver fire. Followed instantly by a cold whisper brushing the back of my mind. Yasin. My breath stuttered. He's here. Milan recoiled like burned. He isn't. I'd sent him. He's not here physically, I whispered, clutching the edge of the furs. But the moment you touch me, I sense him, as if he is standing beside me. Milan's eyes darkened with something raw. I can feel him too. Shock jolted through me. What do you mean? When I reach for you, there's resistance, as if his presence is inside the space that belongs to us. His voice cracked on the last word. The veins surged suddenly, hot, cold, hot again, clawing up my throat. I gasped, grabbing at my chest as flashes of gold and silver danced beneath my skin. Yasin, breathe. Milan reached for me again. No, don't! But it was too late. His hand closed around mine. Silver light flared. Cold punched through the warmth. Pain ricocheted through my ribs like a crack of bone. I cried out. Milan jerked back instantly, horror twisting across his face. I'm hurting you. No, I choked. It's the vein. It's pulling. Harder than before. His voice dropped to something wrecked and helpless. Yasin, I can't stand watching this tear you apart. I pushed myself off the bed, legs trembling. Where are you going? His tone sharpened. I need air. I staggered toward the doorway carved into the den wall. I can't breathe in here. Yasin, you're not stable. Neither is the vein, I snapped over my shoulder, and it's going to break me if I stay still. He surged after me. I stepped outside before he could stop me. The night hit me like a shock. Cold wind, pine, wet earth, the distant groan of storm clouds rolling low across the valley. I braced my hands on my knees, fighting for breath as my vision swam. 2 pulls, 2 threads, 1 warm, gold, steady, familiar. Milan. 1 cold, silver, sharp, ancient. Farron. Both tightening, both demanding. A wave of dizziness crashed through me. My knees buckled. Milan grabbed my waist. But even that small touch sent the vein roaring to life again, power snarling beneath my ribs. I pushed him away. Don't. Please. I can't. Your touch triggers it. His face collapsed. Yasin. It's not you, I whispered. It's the vein. I stumbled backward, pressing a hand to a tree to steady myself. Everything inside me flickered. Heat and frost, heartbeat and hunger. And then, cutting through the wind, a whisper, soft, cold, unmistakable. Yasin! I froze. Milan's head snapped up, scenting the air. Where is he? He's not here, I said, voice barely audible, but he's close. Another whisper brushed along my spine, intimate as breath against my neck. Little Veinborn. Milan's growl rumbled low, vibrating the night. He's inside the bond. A gust of wind stirred the branches around us, and in it, Farron's voice, not a shout, not a call, a promise. I'm coming. Yasin, wait for me. Chapter 3. The night tore open around us. Milan spun toward the whisper still clinging to the air, his eyes a furious gold. Every muscle pulled taut as if one wrong breath would send him snapping into a full shift. He's pulling on you again, he growled, voice deepening, vibrating. I can feel it through the bond. I hugged my arms around my trembling ribs. It's not intentional. Yes, it is. His snarl ripped through the dark. This is exactly what he wants, to twist the bond, to rip your vein toward him, until you can't tell what you feel, until you have no choice left. That's not fair, I whispered. Milan whirled toward me, rain gathering in his lashes, jaw clenched with something between fury and heartbreak. Fair! Yasin, he's inside the bond. Inside you. He shouldn't be. A howl sliced through the trees, then another, then many, a chorus of wolves. Closing in. Milan inhaled sharply, scenting. Farron's loyalists. Fear stabbed through me. We have to move. He grabbed my hand, hesitated when the veins sparked painfully beneath my skin, and shifted his grip to my wrist instead. Stay close. Don't let the power rise unless you have to. We bolted into the forest. Branches whipped against my arms as Milan dragged me over roots, under low limbs, through curtains of mist that clung like cobwebs. My heartbeat synced with his sprint, thundering. Behind us, heavy paws pounded earth. A wolf snarled, too close. Milan, I hear them. Faster! The vein trembled the way it had before, like it wanted out, like it wanted to protect me in ways I still didn't understand. A blur of black fur lunged from the left. Mullane shoved me behind him, teeth bared in a snarl, more beast than man. Claws slashed across his forearm, blood spraying, but he didn't flinch. He knocked the wolf aside with a vicious backhand, sending it skidding into a fallen log. We can't keep running, I gasped. There are too many. Exactly why we run. 3 more wolves poured in from the trees, flanking us. Mullane grabbed my waist. Hold on! He leapt. We crashed down a muddy slope, tumbling through rocks and dead leaves. My shoulder slammed into the earth. Pain shot up my arm. Wolves barreled after us, gaining speed. One lunged, jaws wide. No! The word tore out of me without thought. Silver light exploded from my body. The air shook. The wolf hit an invisible wall of force and collapsed mid-jump, legs buckling. Another stumbled, whining, unable to move. Milan froze mid-step, staring at me with wide, shaken eyes. Yasin, Moon's mercy. The vein buzzed under my skin, violently alive. I didn't mean to, I whispered. It just happens when I'm scared. It's reacting, he breathed. It's protecting you, but it's too strong, too unstable. The wolves that attacked us growled as they melted back into the trees until their scents retreated completely, and another, one tipped in silver frost, replaced them, growing stronger by the minute. Milan grabbed my shoulders. Listen to me. The vein isn't choosing between us. I blinked through the rain. What do you mean? It's choosing both. I shook my head, damp hair whipping my frozen cheeks. That's impossible. So is your power, Milan snapped. Yet here we are. My chest clenched with panic. What happens if it keeps pulling both ways? His answer came instantly. Harsh, pained. It'll rip you apart. Lightning cracked overhead, illuminating his face. Fury, fear, love, all twisted together. His hands trembled where they gripped me. Milan, I can't survive if you and Farron tear each other apart. He looked away, jaw clenched, throat working like he was swallowing glass. I learned a long time ago not to trust the hands that pretend to save you. He shook his head, clearing the memory that popped up in his mind, the one that caused the pain behind his eyes. I can't stop fighting him. Ever. You have to. I can't. His voice broke. He won't stop until he takes you, your power, your choice, everything. You don't know him. I want to, I whispered. His head snapped toward me. He let out a hollow laugh, sharp and aching. You want to know Farron? The rain slicked his hair to his forehead as he shook his head. Fine, then hear the truth. I froze. Milan's voice dropped low, trembling with something old and wounded. When we were children, we were inseparable, he said. He was my shadow, my teeth when I had none. We chased each other through the dens, stole food from the kitchens, got in trouble together. We were brothers, Yasin, real ones, before all the court politics, before our father started whispering poison, telling him he should lead, telling me I needed to prove myself. Thunder cracked, but Milan didn't stop. One night, our father took us hunting, said it was a lesson in leadership. Milan's breath hitched, anger flaring in his eyes. But when the rogue pack ambushed us, Farron, he pushed me toward them, right into their jaws. My heart stuttered. He pushed you. I thought he was trying to kill me. Milan's voice broke. The brother I loved, trusted, offered me to the rogues without hesitation. What happened? I barely survived. Father saved me just as his guards caught up to us. They fought the rogues off, helped get me to safety. Farron was gone, ran off into the trees, vanished for days. His throat bobbed as he swallowed. When he came back, he said he'd gotten separated, said he'd tried to help me. Milan shook his head, betrayal shaking loose years of hurt. But I saw the way he looked at me, the way he couldn't meet my eyes. He stepped back, breathing ragged. I never forgave him, he whispered. I never will. The words hung heavy, raw, brutal. Before I could speak, before Milan could redraw the walls around himself, the wind shifted, cold, ancient, calling, that silver-tipped scent, overwhelming, and oh so wanted. The vein yanked sharply in one direction, as if hooked. Farron, I breathed. Milan bared his teeth. No, get behind me. The forest split apart. Trees bowed, leaves scattered. And through the curtain of rain, silver eyes appeared. Farron stepped into the clearing, calm, uninjured, stormlight sliding over his pale hair. His presence tackled me like I was his dinner, and he was a starving man, cold recognition slamming into the heat I carried from Milan. He didn't look at Milan. He didn't look at the wolves slowly emerging from the trees. His gaze locked only on me. Yasin. One word, both a command and a plea. Milan lunged in front of me. You're not touching her. Farron tilted his head, unimpressed. As I told you before, I don't need to. The vein knows it. The vein pulsed. Hard. My knees buckled. 2 threads, one gold, one silver, twisted violently inside my ribs. Milan grabbed my arm. Farron took a single step forward. Both pulls seized me at once. Pain exploded through my chest, dragging a cry from my lips as the world blurred. 2 wolves, 2 destinies, tearing at the same center of me. Milan's grip tightened. Yasin, stay with me. Farron's voice cut through the storm, sharp and intimate. Come to me. The vein surged, nearly dragging me out of Milan's hold. I gasped, caught between the warmth that had saved me and the cold that felt like a truth I wasn't ready to face. Yasin! Milan roared, at the same time Farron did. 2 throats torn by the same anguish. I stood suspended between them. 2 forces, 2 futures, and the vein answered them both. Chapter 4. The storm hung motionless above the trees, as if even the sky refused to breathe. Milan stood in front of me, chest rising with sharp, ragged breaths, claws half-formed at his fingertips. His gold eyes burned with fury and desperation. 2 emotions fighting the same losing war. Farron stood opposite him, rain sliding off his shoulders like he wasn't part of this world. His silver eyes held no rage, no gloating, only knowing, only me. The vein thrashed beneath my skin, each pulse a jagged shock. Gold heat pulling left, silver frost pulling right, until my ribs felt ready to crack. Another pulse slammed through me, harder than the last. So sharp, my knees buckled. Milan lunged forward, catching me before I hit the ground. Farron took a single step forward. Milan snarled, shifting his stance. One more step, and... Save the threats, Farron murmured, gaze still on me. She doesn't need you posturing. She needs the truth. Truth? Milan spat. You mean the way you twist everything. Milan thinks he knows everything there is to know, Farron interrupted, his voice almost gentle. But some stories get twisted before they're even told. My breath faltered. Farron stepped closer. You're breaking, Yasin, he continued, tone brutally honest, painfully calm. You're bound to one wolf while the vein remembers 2. Your body can't sustain the split. Milan lunged a step forward. Don't talk to her like you understand." "I do understand," Farron said, finally turning his head to his brother. "More than you ever have." Mylane stiffened, jaw flexing. Farron faced me again, rain caught in his pale lashes. "Your vein is calling for balance, not allegiance. And your bond with him," his voice, dropped lower, "is only half of what you are." A ripple tore through me. Silver light flickered beneath my skin. Milan's growl vibrated the air. "She's not yours to claim." Farron didn't flinch. "I haven't claimed her." "Like hell you haven't. You've been pulling at her power since the forest." "I only follow what the vein already chose." He paused, eyes softening, not with tenderness, but with truth. "She is tied to me, whether or not you accept it." Milan growled. His wolf surged close to the surface, canines lengthening, muscles bunching beneath his skin. "You think you can steal her? You think you can tear her from me?" Farron frowned faintly. "I don't need to steal what's already connected." "Connected?" Milan roared. "She ran from you." My voice broke free before I could hold it. "Both of you, stop!" They froze. The vein pulsed violently, echoing my desperation. The forest shuddered, leaves trembling on branches, roots creaking deep beneath the ground. "I can't breathe when you fight," I whispered. "It pulls me apart." Milan reached toward me instinctively, then stopped when the vein sparked under my skin. Farron took a slow step closer, not touching, not crowding, just close enough that I felt the cold of him settle around my shoulders. His voice lowered. "I'm not here to fight you, Yasin. I'm here because the vein is screaming for you to listen." Milan surged forward, fury snapping. "You don't get to—" "It is killing her." Farron's voice sharpened, not cruel, just unflinchingly honest. "Every moment she resists what she is, what we are to her, it tears her in half." Milan's breath hitched. "You're lying," he spat. "You always twist things. You always have." "Not all wounds are the ones we choose, brother." Farron's gaze didn't waver. "Look at her." Milan swiveled his eyes to me, and his anger crumbled into something far more painful. Fear. Staggering fear. Because I was shaking, cold silver crawled beneath my skin. Gold heat surged against it, the dual light breaking me in half. My legs buckled again, and Milan caught me with a desperate sound. Farron watched my chest stutter, his voice grim. "She can't stabilize out here. The forest amplifies the vein. She needs neutral ground, or this will keep tearing her apart." "I can't do this," I whispered, voice cracking. "Not between you, not like this." Milan's expression shattered. Farron stepped closer. So close I felt the cold emanating from his skin, the shape of his breath brushing my cheek, the calm certainty threaded through his presence. But he didn't touch, not once. "You don't have to choose," he said quietly. "Not in the way he thinks." Milan bristled. "Don't speak for her." "Then let her speak," Farron snapped back. The two wolves locked eyes. Old wounds, old rivalry, old love twisted into hatred. Lightning split the sky above us. The vein surged, violent and overwhelming. A scream ripped from my throat. Both wolves moved at the same time. Milan reached me first, hands on my waist, holding me upright. "Yasin, stay with me, please." Farron's hand came to my back, not touching skin, just pressing against the fabric of my shirt, steady and cold and impossibly grounding. "Breathe, follow the pull, don't fight it." The moment both their bodies touched mine. The vein erupted, not in pain, in light, in connection. A circuit completed. Thunder rolled across the clearing as silver and gold collided, the energy lifting my feet off the ground for a heartbeat. The rain pelted my skin, but I was beyond caring. I sobbed, chest seizing as the power surged through me, through them, and the forest bowed under the weight of it. Milan gasped. "Moon's mercy, Yasin, what is this?" Farron's eyes widened with awe, voice a low murmur. "Balance." The light dimmed slowly, flickering out, leaving me trembling between them. both wolves holding me upright, both threads humming in perfect unison for the first time. My vision cleared, and I understood. The vein wasn't meant for possession, wasn't meant for choosing one wolf over another. It was meant to connect what had been broken, to bridge what had been severed, to bind what destiny had split. Not for one bond, for two, for balance. And I was the center point, the only point. Farron's breath brushed my ear. Now you see. Milan's damp forehead pressed to mine, shaking. Yasin. I looked between them. Gold eyes, silver eyes. Two wolves, two paths, two halves of something larger than all of us. I'm not meant to belong to one of you, I whispered, voice trembling with truth I could no longer deny. I'm meant to balance you both. Farron's voice cut in softly, urgent. But she won't survive the next surge unless we move. There's only one place that can anchor a vein split like this. Milan's head jerked up. No, not that place. Farron met his gaze. The old sanctuary, the first one. Its stones can withstand this. Another pulse ripped through me, and I screamed along with a flash of lightning. Milan gathered me into his arms, voice breaking. Fine, we go. Chapter 5. The rain soaked us through by the time Milan carried me through the forest. Farron led the way, silent, scanning the shadows. Keep her breathing, Farron said without turning. The sanctuary is close. Milan gritted his teeth. If this place fails, it won't, Farron replied. It was built for this. The ruined sanctuary rose from the forest like a broken spine. Columns cracked, archways hollow, stained glass long surrendered to time. Moss clung to stone, rain dripping through fractured beams in slow, steady rhythms. Milan carried me past the threshold, breath still unsteady from the energy that had ripped through us. Farron followed silently, steps soft on the slick stone, presence heavy enough to bend the air. The moment we stepped inside, the pressure in my chest eased. Only a little, but enough. These walls remember power, Farron murmured, eyes tracing the broken altar. The vein lingers here. Milan shot him a glare. Don't pretend you came here to help. Farron didn't look at him. I came because she's dying. The words landed like ice. Milan's jaw clenched. Shut up. But I raised a trembling hand. Both of you, stop. They fell silent instantly. I tried to steady my breathing. I need answers. Milan crouched in front of me, brushing wet hair from my forehead with trembling fingers. Are you hurting? Yes, I whispered. But that's not the question. I looked between them. What do you feel? I asked softly. For me. For this. For what the vein wants. Milan's expression twisted with pain. Yasin, I care about you more than anything. Before the bond. After it. I should have told you everything earlier, but He stopped. But I met his gaze steadily. You were afraid? His breath faltered. Of losing you. He swallowed. Of what the truth would make you think of me. Or what it would make you think of him, Farron said quietly. Milan stiffened. Stay out of... No, I whispered. I need your truth too. Farron met my eyes, silver steady, unflinching. I never wanted a mate. I never wanted to be tied to anyone. But the moment the vein recognized you, I couldn't unfeel it, even when I tried. The vein pulsed, warm, aching. But Milan's glare sharpened, voice jagged and rough. You don't get to pretend. You lost the right to claim anything the night you tried to kill me. The air froze. Farron didn't flinch. Is that what you still believe? You shoved me into a rogue pack, Milan roared. I was 8. I trusted you. Stop, I breathed. Both of you, tell me what happened. Milan looked at me, pain rippling through him. He pushed me, straight into their jaws. Something in Farron's expression cracked. Something deep. I didn't push you, he said softly. I tried to pull you back. Milan's face twisted. disbelief and old hurt clashing. Don't lie to her. I'm not lying. Farron stepped closer, voice low, trembling. You never saw him behind you. Instead, you chose to believe his lies. I did too. It was easier than believing I failed you. Who? I whispered. Who came between you two? Farron's breath shuddered. Our father. Milan staggered half a step. What? He told us it was a leadership test, Farron said. Said he'd intervene only if necessary, but when the rogues ambushed, he didn't move. He reached for you. Farron's voice cracked. Not to save you. Milan stared at him, eyes wide, breath broken. He shoved you forward, Farron whispered. At the same moment, I grabbed your arm to pull you back. That's why the rogues grabbed us, why it felt like it was me. The sanctuary went silent, but for dripping rain. We got separated as they attacked. I ran. Lost your scent, Farron said, voice raw. When I came back to the pack, I learned everyone, including you, thought I had betrayed you, that I was ruthless, cold. Father was pleased, and at that time, I wanted his love more than anything. Milan's face crumpled, fury, grief, and something like the first breath after drowning. I never hated you, Farron murmured. Not once. The vein inside me pulsed hard, responding to the truth finally spoken, the fracture beginning to close. Milan pressed a shaking hand to his mouth. Moon above, what did he do to us? What alphas do to sons they fear, Farron said. He made us enemies. The room folded into silence, heavy, aching, real. I rose slowly, trembling. Both wolves moved instinctively to steady me, stopping only when the veins sparked. My voice shook. I can't survive if you two keep tearing each other apart. The vein won't let me choose. Milan exhaled sharply. Yasin, no. I looked at both of them. It's not choosing between you. Their breaths caught. The vein is choosing both. The threads inside my chest surged, silver and gold intertwining, no longer fighting. I felt them. Both wolves, both bonds, both truths. I care about you, I whispered to Milan. Warmth, safety, loyalty. Then I turned to Farron. And I care about you. Truth, recognition, power. The vein glowed, humming like approval. Milan's voice broke. If you choose him? I'm not choosing him, I said softly. And I'm not choosing you. Their chests rose, suspended. I'm choosing the vein. I'm choosing survival. I'm choosing balance. Light erupted, silver and gold spilling across the sanctuary floor, weaving through cracks, up the stone pillars, into the carvings etched by forgotten hands. The pressure in my ribs loosened, threads aligning, uncoiling. I gasped, then breathed, really breathed, for the first time. Milan touched his chest. The bond, it feels different. Whole, Farron whispered. My knees buckled. Both wolves stepped in, one warm hand on my back, one cold hand on my arm, catching me at the exact same moment. The vein purred. Balanced. Milan looked at Farron, not with hatred this time, but something slower, reluctant, painful. So, she is ours, and we are hers. Farron smirked faintly. Yes, brother, the choice has been made. Chapter 6. The clearing glowed under the twin moons, silver and gold lights spilling across the gathered wolves. The forest had fallen silent in a way that felt holy, like it understood what was about to happen, what it meant, what we meant. Milan stood to my left, Farron at my right. Our threads pulsed in rhythm, steady, united. No tearing, no chaos, just balance, deep and sure and inevitable. The pack circled us in widening rings, some eyes wary, some hopeful, all waiting. Milan stepped forward first, shoulders squared, voice carrying like thunder softened by rain. She is not choosing between us, he said. She is choosing us, all of us. This pack will be ruled by balance, not dominance, not rivalry. Farron moved beside him, silver gaze sweeping the assembly. The vein has spoken. You all felt it. You all saw it. She is the center. We are the halves. Together, we are whole. A ripple moved through the wolves, uncertainty shifting into something steadier, warmer, trust blooming where fear had lived for too long. I lifted my chin and let the vein rise, not in power, not in force, but in invitation. Golden warmth rolled out first, then silver coolness, weaving through each wolf, touching hearts, calming their instincts. Acceptance surged back to me, one pulse at a time. One wolf stepped forward, then another, heads bowed, knees bent. The pack lowered itself, not in submission, but in recognition. Of the bond, of the balance, of us. Milan's breath trembled beside me. Farron's hand hovered just close enough that I felt the heat of him along my arm, steady, grounding. His opposite, his complement. The vein hummed, warm with approval, as if this moment had always been its purpose. When the last wolf bowed, Farron turned to me, eyes molten silver. "It's time," he said quietly. My breath caught. Milan stepped close, cupping my jaw with a touch so gentle it hurt. "You don't have to fear this," he murmured. "Not anymore." "I'm not afraid," I whispered. "Not with you, with both of you." Farron exhaled, a sound like a man finally allowed to want something. "Then come to me." The pack remained bowed, heads lowered, granting privacy with solemn reverence. Farron stepped behind me, his presence wrapping around me like a second heartbeat. Milan backed away a few paces, not in withdrawal, but in trust, in offering. Farron reached for me, and I felt the veins stir. Slow, warm, aching. His hands guided me gently, drawing me closer until the space between us thinned to nothing. His breath brushed my temple. "Say yes." My answer was a whisper that trembled through both bonds. "Yes." The veins surged, this time not outward, but up my spine, as if recognizing what came next. Silver light spiraled from my skin, gathering, thickening, weaving itself into a shimmering orb that rose around Farron and me like a living shield. The world outside dimmed. The pack remained bowed, unaware of the moment sealing itself away. Inside the orb, the light softened, silver mist drifting like breath. It cocooned us, warm and cool at once, a sanctuary made of power and permission. Farron's inhale caught as the glow wrapped around him, drawing him close until our foreheads touched. There was no forest, no witnesses, only us. The vein ignited. Farron's touch found my waist, my back, the curve of my shoulder. Never rushing, never claiming, only inviting. The warmth of him pressed against me, steady and sure, and he lowered his lips to mine. The first kiss was slow, soft, almost reverent. Then something broke open. Silver heat surged through us, gentle but consuming, and the world narrowed to breath and closeness and the sweet, dizzy pull of the bond finally aligning. The kiss deepened, turning molten, turning necessary. Farron's hands guided me with a tenderness that stole breath and steadiness alike. I leaned into him, into the pull, the rightness, the inevitability. My fingers found his shirt, anchoring myself as the silver light spun around us. His mouth claimed mine again, this time with a hunger laced in devotion. We moved together, a slow, heated rhythm that felt older than the forest itself, a joining made of breath and closeness and a shared heartbeat. No rush, no force, just connection, pure and consuming. The veins swelled between us, filling every inch of me with silver warmth, threading deeper until I gasped against his lips. Farron held me through it, guiding, grounding, giving, every slow, intimate movement echoing through the bond. The orb thickened, turning opaque, as though the vein itself wished to guard what unfolded next. Farron's hands traced slow, meaningful lines along my sides, drenched in devotion. Fabric eased away, soft, careful, reverent, as if the magic insisted on bearing honesty, not bodies. Cool air kissed warm skin. Silver glow blessed us both. He held me through every breath, every tremble, every moment when I leaned into him without hesitation. And when I touched him in return, his inhale splintered, quiet, sharp, and the vein shuddered with us. When the bond locked into place, our clothes drifted back into position on a gentle breeze of vein light, as if the magic itself wished to shield the sacredness of what had just occurred. The orb brightened, signaling its end. Then, the bond clicked like a star settling into its orbit, a soft pop of pressure, a breath of cold. The orb dissolved. The silver haze pulled back in a slow ripple, revealing Farron holding me, both of us steady, but trembled through with the afterglow of magic. Milan's head snapped up the instant the orb vanished. A flare of heat, bright, fierce, instinctive, shot through the bond, warming my chest like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. His jaw tightened, not in jealousy, but in the raw effort it took to master the longing that slammed into him. Then his expression softened, pride and devotion settling over him like something earned, something chosen. He bowed his head, not in surrender, but in acceptance, in vow. A flash of silver light burst outward, soft, warm, silent. The pack lifted their heads as the glow washed over them, accepting, blessing, sealing the bond. Farron rested his forehead to mine, breath unsteady. "You're mine," he whispered, not possessive, but awed. "And I am yours." Milan's steps approached behind us, warm and steady. He touched my back lightly, voice low. "And now, we are one." The vein answered with a golden pulse, intertwining with the silver, heat, and coolness weaving through the clearing, balancing each other, choosing harmony over war. The pack lifted their voices, howls rising in layered harmony, not to claim, but to welcome, to crown, to unite. Farron wrapped an arm around my waist. Milan took my other hand, fingers threading through mine like a promise he had every intention of keeping. The wolves gathered closer, forming a glowing circle of reflected vein light. Together, we stood at the center. The alpha, the balance, the bonded, united, ruled by 3 hearts, 1 pack, 1 power, 1 future. Thank you for journeying through part 2, through silver-lit vows, shifting power, and a pack forever changed by the vein's choosing. If this chapter of the world pulled you in and left your heart running wild beside the wolves, please like and subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. Share this tale with anyone who craves magic rooted in moonlight, bonds born of fate, and love strong enough to shake an entire forest. And stay close, because next week begins a brand new adventure. New pack, new dangers, new hearts on the line. Until then, may the moons watch over your path, and may your own wild spirit lead you someplace unforgettable.